good with it in the hood with it? Welcome back to the Collective Clips, where you already know we get it in. But before we get it in, let's hit that like and subscribe button. Ding. Put your notification bell on all so that way you're directed in the direction of the dope content I am kicking. And I highly appreciate all the support, man. We're going up on this channel and it's all because of you. And for that, I can say I'm very humbled, but even more so, I'm very appreciative. Now, I'm sunburnt like a motherfucker. That's what fishing will do to you. I was out there on the lake really getting it, right? So bear with me as I'm burning, right? That's what happens when you're light-skinned. Anyways, I wanted to talk about what popped up on my feed, man. And I was asked about it, so I figured I'd give my little 2 cents. And it's this fight, this fade, right, between Little Slugg from South Hayward, who people have been saying is a bulldog, right, versus Acito. Acito, the Northern California rapper, the Norteno rapper. And you know what? I was impressed. I was impressed that in this generation nowadays, that it went down the way it did, without anyone getting shot, without anyone getting stabbed. You know, hey, they can live to fight another day, right? That's a great thing. You know, back in my days, that's how it was. If you caught the adversary slipping, it was pretty much an on-site thing. You didn't let it go. You didn't let it go. You know, for the most part, you didn't go out there unless you had a bone to pick and it was personal. You didn't actively go out there looking for that person. You just, when you caught him in the wind, you caught him in traffic, you got off where you were mad at. That's the old school way of doing things. You catch that fade. No weapon, you know, no weaponry. Excuse me, I'm stumbling, but no weaponry. I was about to say weaponry, but you don't say weaponry, you say weaponry. No weaponry, no pulling out knives and guns. I mean, if it gets drastic, it gets hectic, you blast. You let someone have it, I guess, you know, but I don't promote violence, so I won't be showing the actual fight. There's other channels and you can look online and there's the footage of the fight. But according to what they said, Acito happened to be on his way to the store, and as he's passing by, he sees this guy who's been disrespecting. Now, everybody knows the Fresno Bulldogs, or the Bulldogs, period. I just want to say Fresno because there are county dogs and dogs from other cities that are slept on. You know, they're going to be opposition. Okay, the Bulldogs and Nortenos are on site. It's been like that for decades now. You know, you don't really run into Bulldogs unless you're going to the city of Fresno or the county. And, you know, they're really right there. So it's not like very common to see a Bulldog in Hayward or Corcoran or Sacramento or Stockton. But there are some. Don't get it twisted. Bulldogs are everywhere. You just don't run into them too much. So anyways, they happened to see each other at a store in passing and got off where they were mad at. Caught the fade, right? Now, that's some man shit. You know, you always hear people talking about, hey, if I see you, it's on. I'm going to pull up. Let's take the Lazy Boy video, for instance. You know, and I kind of chuckled to myself, right? No disrespect to Lazy Boy from Songho, but I kind of chuckled because when you listen to the video, in the beginning, he's talking to one of his homeboys in front of the store, right? And they're talking about lefty gunplay. Frank. He likes to call him Frank, right? They're talking about lefty gunplay. And he says, man, all them dudes, if I see them, it's on. I'm on their head. You ain't going to see them, bro. Stop it. Unless you go to Los Angeles, you ain't going to see them. Just like they ain't going to see you. So all that, hey, if I see these fools, I'm on their head. You're not going to see them, man. So, you know, that's just talk. But in Northern California as well as Southern California, you will see your adversary. You know, it seems like the last person you ever want to see on earth is the first person you see when you wake up in the morning. That's the way it goes, right? That's the way the energy of the world works. That's called fate. That's called karma. You're going to run into a motherfucker. So Acito runs into Little Slugg. Now, Little Slugg is a complex individual, and I'll tell you the reason why. Because he's from South Hayward, okay? South Hayward is the Bay Area. It's the East Bay. You know, in the East Bay, you have Norteños, you have some Southsiders, Upstaters, and then, of course, you have Kumi, a lot of blacks, man. There's a lot of brothers in the Bay Area. And, you know, a lot of the brothers in the Bay have always been cool with the Norteños, man. Not saying they run in hand or they're allies. In some cases, I guess they may be. But they've always been cool with each other. You know, they do music together. They share the same hoods, the same turfs, the same barrios. So that's just the way it is. The Bay Area is very diverse, man. It's very urbanly influenced and it's diverse. So you have a little bit of a little bit of everybody. And they all have the same slanguage, the same Bay Area slang, the same style and swag. That's just the Bay. So this guy from South Hayward, you know, it trips me out that he's of a Bulldog influence. But see, I remember back in the days when the Bulldogs did the split from the Norteños, right? there was a lot of homies that were Norteños that had a lot of partners that were Bulldogs. And they were asked to go one way or the other. And a lot of them ran with the dogs in whatever particular institution they were at. And this was in the youth authority as well as prison. And the reason why is because they had a lot of camaradas, a lot of homeboys that were dogs. And so when that split happened, there was a lot of defectors, a lot of people that chose to go the Bulldog route, to let the Norte go and just roll Bulldogs. I was asked myself at one point in time, hey, homie, you're from the 209, because back then Fresno was the 209. You're from the 209, rock with us, you know. And I had a lot of good tight-ass homeboys that were Bulldogs. But of course, I chose the other route. I chose not to turn face on my gente, on my northern raza. I chose to stick with my people, right? But there was a lot of homeboys that did. They called them switched up or transformers. And I don't necessarily say that because at that time it was a hard and a rough decision, but it was a decision that was made. So when I hear about Bulldogs from South Hayward, like this guy Little Slugg is supposed to be, I don't it doesn't freak me out or trip me out, or I'm not like, oh wow, no, that's not true. Because there are Bulldogs from everywhere. Now I haven't seen them as far as the Bay Area or claimed Bay Area cities. Usually they were in the valley, all the way from Sacramento to Tulare County, man, you would run into a few dogs, right? They weren't very deep. I know Madera had a nice little chunk of Bulldogs. They started to claim Madera. And then, of course, all of Fresno County and Merced, we had a couple. It's just the way it was, man. Vatos, Modesto, Sac. So anyways, the Bulldogs fucking decided to branch out, you know, and influence. I know at one point there was Nation Dogs, which was something that was started. It didn't last too long. But it was started to try to implement a type of structure with the dogs and to like basically recruit dogs from every different city in California, north and south. That was started by Mousy Morales and it didn't really pan out. I've done a video on that on my other channel. Go trip out on it, or maybe even this channel. Now, Acito is from Northern California and he was part of a group called Red Alert. And Red Alert was comprised of different rappers from different cities in Northern California. Basically, they made a super group, right? And Acito was probably one of the best rappers out of that group. I like Rico Too Smooth, of course, GB from Merced. All of them were good. Babyface Wood, I don't know if he was involved in that, but he definitely rocks. So these Northern California rappers have a little swag to them. They have a little style. You know, and lately we've been hearing about the North and South issues when it comes to the rap beef. Lefty Gunplay, Little Weirdo, Lazy Boy, bands, you know. And we all know that was stemmed, a lot of that beef right there, that back and forth was stemmed from the No Jumper interviews with bands from Santa Rosa and, of course, Lazy Boy de Sanjo. When them guys went, people were feeling some type of way and words were exchanged. And now they're banging on wax. There's rap beef. Okay, there's rap beef. You got Lazy Boy making diss tracks, Little Weirdo making diss tracks. I haven't heard Lefty Gunplay make a diss track yet. Then you have Chito Ranas. And, of course, Chito Ranas is a different type of character because Chito Ranas is from Northern California, is from Sacramento, but is an upstate Southsider, meaning he claims the Sur even though he's from up north, right? So there's a lot of people that feel a lot of ways about him, meaning that he has always been at odds with Northern California. So that's just the way it is with him. So there's been a lot of dissing that goes on concerning Chito Ranas back and forth. You know, he dissed Little TYS's family and Little TYS when he passed, which was a Sacramento, Northern California Sacramento rapper. And then, of course, these guys went back in on his brother who passed recently about a year ago in the city of San Jose, right, due to gun violence. It just happens, man. I think vatos that are dead, let them rest. They're done already, you know. They played the game as far as they could play it, and shit happens, you know. So when people speak on the dead and go back and forth, that's truly disrespect. That's the ultimate disrespect. And people ain't playing about that. You can see bodies drop over that. Facts. So anyways, when it comes to Acito, he's kind of low-key. You don't really hear about him much gangbanging. You know, from everything I heard, he's a good dude, good rapper, solid. And just is very low-key and is trying to make his bag and do his thing. But I guess he got into it with this guy named Little Slugg. Now, Little Slugg, you know, is considered a bulldog. Now, I don't know exactly if he is a dog or not, but a lot of people are saying he's a bulldog. Now, when I think bulldogs, I think Fresno, right? So to see that this guy was from Hayward claiming dogs kind of threw me for a loop. But like I said, man, I wasn't tripped out about it. So if he is pushing that bulldog movement, if he is doing that, then obviously every Southsider and every Norteño are going to be his adversary, his opposition. It's going to be on site with them. So somewhere along the line, I guess him and Acito run into each other at the store, right? And instead of pulling out straps and instead of pulling out pieces and doing all that, these guys took the fade. I got to commend them, homes. That's righteous. That's the way to do it. If you got a personal beef or a beef with your enemy, homes, Why always pull out weapons? Why always have to go that route? Why make someone's mom cry? Catch the fade like real men do. Win, lose, or draw. You pulled up. You showed up. You did your thing. No one can knock you for that ever. See, that's men shit. That's what men do. At least back in the days, that's what men do. You know, nowadays, the people that are quick to pull the straps, it doesn't make them cool. You're not looked at as cool. You don't earn brownie points. Oh, the homie, he was smoking everything. He was laying down shit. He was bodying everyone. I guess if you think that makes you cool, then you weren't raised right. You weren't laced up or educated or indoctrinated by big homies right. See, the thing is to hold your own no matter where you're at. Okay, if there's 10 motherfuckers coming at you and you got something, well, then pull it, right? That's what it's for self-preservation and protection. But to just go out showing the weaponry and a lot, you know, just going out there showing things, that ain't really what it's all about. Catch that fade. You can talk that high power shit online. You can talk that shit to each other, go back and forth, then fight, right? Or don't. You know, there's no one other way around it. You either catch it or you don't. Okay? But these guys decided to fight. Now, of course, it was filmed like everything is nowadays, and it's online, so you can go watch it. But like I said, I commend the guys for at least showing that there's a different route you could go. See, most people nowadays in this generation think it's all about shoot 'em up, bang, bang, and upping the polls and doing all that because they think it earns them some type of clout or cool or make them look cool. But I'm going to tell you right now, straight up, these are facts. Say you run into your adversary. You go to prison. You smoke them. You go to prison. That'll earn you no extra status, no extra brownie points, none of that. In fact, the guy you shot, no one knows who he is. They don't care. Okay, oh, you did that? That means you're willing to go all the way. You're willing to make the ultimate sacrifice here. Here's a piece. Go handle your business. Because let me tell you what happens. If you're a youngster and you kill someone you kill someone on the streets because you guys had a personal beef or because you had an internet beef or your two gangs don't get along or whatever. That's cool, man. I went through the shit, so I know what it is. And you catch a body, okay, and your homeboys in your hood, yeah, you're ghetto fabulous, you're ghetto famous. Damn, the homie did that shit. He smoked a boy. 2 weeks from now, they're going to be boning your old lady and forgot about it. And you're going to be going through the motions in the county jail. And of course, what are you here for? A murder case? All right, cool. You know what I mean? Go there with all the other 100 motherfuckers that are here for murder cases. You're going to blend right in. You're not going to be something extra special, Holmes. There's no cherry on top. You're just the same as everyone else. And then you go to reception. And then, hey, what are you in here for? Murder. All right, so you go through the motions of reception. And because you're young, and because it's your first term, and because you're fucking in for murder, you're going to get a crazy amount of points. Crazy points. It all factors on age. It all factors on ability. It all factors on case factors and where you've been and what you've done. If you've been to the youth authority, that's even worse. And anyways, if you're really gangbanging like that, depending upon if you're active, if they are able to validate you with active points and whatever, you're going to get a crazy amount of number of points. And you're going to go to a level 4, maybe a level 3 if you're lucky, but more than likely a level 4 because you're young and your case factors of being locked up for murder and catching a gang of time. So after you caught a gaggle of time, 20 plus years, now you go to a 4-yard. And let me explain to you what happens on that 4-yard when you get there. Okay, depending upon what group you're from, whether it's white, what's up, brothers, right? Black, South, or North, Bulldogs, whatever, right? I'm just taking it from a northern perspective because that's all I know, right? So if I was to get there, I'm young, I'm crazy, Holmes, I done smack someone, I'll smack everybody's shit. Not with these, but with that or this, right? Now I don't have this. This is gone. You won't see this no more. There's no more guns to protect you. There's no more guns to let loose. You don't have that in prison. Now all you have is these, and if you're willing to use that, and let me explain to you exactly what happens. You're going to get fucking, right when you get there, it's going to be like, hey, Holmes, who are you? Where you from? The 5 W's, who, what, when, where, why. What are you in here for? What county did you fall out of? Where have you been? Who do you know? Identifying marks, tattoos, monikers. They need to know everything. So that way it's a clearance process. You can be cleared to function on that yard, right? Within the household. So that way you're not a threat. Because if you're a threat, you're going to get removed immediately. Or if you have any smut or dirt on your name, if you're on that BNLs or the NGL list, right? I'm talking about the Norteno movement. Southsiders and everyone else does it differently. But everyone's still checking up and seeing who's there, right? Say you get cleared. Let me tell you what the first thing you get when you get cleared. No, they don't shoot you a sopa and a fucking honey bun. No. The first thing you get slid is a little care package with a little fucking deodorant, soap, and a pedazo. Properly secure that, homie. You know what I mean? Be ready. Because guess what? You're on the next one smoking. As soon as it cracks off or something goes down, homes, guess what? You're a killer, right? You're down to shoot? Well, let's see if you're down to shoot on this yard with a piece. That's how it is. So you put yourself in a situation where now you catch more time or even life in prison, you know, and because you're down, you're going to be utilized repeatedly. You're going to be the crash dummy. Now, I'm not saying this happens for everyone, but when the OGs and the people that have been around that are seasoned in prison see a youngster that comes in that smacks some shit on the streets, best believe what they see is crash dummy. You know, unless you happen to have a homeboy there from your neighborhood that has some type of influence, you might skate by. But that's crash dummy 101. They see you, it's like, okay, we're going to put him on frontline status. Since he smacks shit, we're going to see what he's really about. So to see Acito and Slugg catch a fade, man, that's a righteous move right there. That's a righteous move. That shows people we still haven't lost them yet. There still is guys that play men's games and not kids' games. You have a problem, knuckle up, man. Or don't. You know, most situations can be talked out. Most situations, but I understand when there's gang influence, whereas Bulldogs in the North, it's on site anyways. You got to get off where you're mad at. It's always been like that since I'd say 1992. You know, it was crazy in the youth authority having to go through that shit. And people will never understand exactly the impact that had, the split between North and Bulldogs. Now, I know Southerners and Northerners have been going at it, and it was like that already, but we were actually functioning on the same yards, not working hand in hand, but dealing with each other. You guys were on that side of the yard, we were on this side of the yard, and it was what it was. I remember on the compas in the youth authority, we used to be like this. Hey, we're all good right here. We'll take fights in the bliñas. But when we go to the school area, it was on. And there was plenty of times that vatos that were on our compa that had action weren't doing nothing on the compa. We were chilling, but we'd go to the school area and then they'd jump on us with their homeboys from different buildings. And we'd get back and catch the fade with them, and it just kept on going round and round. But when it came to the Bulldogs, it was different. It was an on-site thing. It was total separation. You know, they segregated themselves away from us and we were away from them. And every time we seen each other, it was on and cracking. You know, and that's something different. If you've never went through it and never had to survive that guerra, imagine fighting with the same people. I mean, trying to kill the same people that you were just spreading with a week ago, that you were kicking back with, that was watching your back. And now he's trying to put a knife in your back. That's exactly what it was. And I lived through that transition. I lived through that era. So I can tell you right now, with the Bulldogs in the North, there's a lot of animosity, a lot of friction. Now, with the old school dogs, the F-14ers, man, there was always a lot of love and canalismo. But with this new breed of Bulldogs, man, they like to talk that high power shit. They like to let it be known where they're from. They like to represent, because a lot of people speak ill and bad on their name. So I see where they're coming from. When it comes to the Norteno movement, man, they're already laced and breaded up and told what to do, man. It's on site when you see a dog. So Acito caught this dude, and Acito posted a video after saying, look, I caught my shit. I did what I did. Real talk. Man, I got to give him his respect. I got to give that dude Slugg the respect, because they knuckled up. Okay? There's no mothers crying the next day. You know, we're not burying people or talking about rest in peace Acito or rest in peace little Slugg. They fucking handled their shit like men and kept it pushing. That's real talk. Now, for everyone, oh, he should have killed that dog. He should have. Why? Why? You kill one, 10 more are going to pop up. That's the way it works. That's the world, man. Hey, look it. You'll never be able to eradicate everybody. Your adversaries are always still going to be there. Gang members and gangsters are born every day. Just like Lefty Gunplay says, he's the certified gang member, the hardest gangbanger, the world's most famous gangbanger. Well, guess what? The world's most famous gangbanger was just born right now. There's always going to be more and more and more. It's never going to stop. The only way to make things better in this world, because, you know, I don't promote gangs or none of that, but I'm not going to sugarcoat or add preservatives. I'm telling you, the shit doesn't stop. But the way to get this shit together is to understand, man, that there's different ways of settling your differences. You know, back in the days with us, it was on site. So for these guys to take it back to the old school and catch the fade, man, I respect that. Now, of course, maybe they didn't have weapons. Maybe they didn't have access at a strap. But, you know, according to everyone, people are riding heavy all the time. Never leave the home without it, right? You know, that's what I hear. You know, it's crazy. I see youngsters all the time, and sometimes they be mean mugging. And back in my days, I was the type of individual, if anyone mean mugged, I'd say something. Gang banging or not, it's just pride. It's just man shit, right? It's what men do. Someone's looking at you kind of hard. You know, it's naturally instilled in you to say, what the fuck you looking at, bro? Or what, you got an issue or a problem? You can't do that nowadays. See, nowadays they're doing that. They're mugging because they're strapped up. They're doing it because they feel secure. They want you to say something so they can smoke you because they think that that earns them points and they can go in and say, hey, I smoked some dude that was walking out of 7-Eleven, Holmes. Who was he? I don't know, bro, but the motherfucker was mugging. No, you were mugging. He asked you what the issue was. You know, so you have to, in this era where we're living, you have to bite the bullet a little bit, you know, grit your teeth, be like, okay, little motherfucker wants to stare, because at the end of the day, what's going to happen? Either he's going to smoke you or you're going to smoke him, and then you're locked up forever for nothing over someone staring at you. He probably wasn't even really looking at you. He was looking at the person behind you because she had a big old ass. That's just it. So to see guys catch that one-on-one, I respect that. I respect that. Now, as far as the Bulldog and North and South business, you know, there was a lot of, not unity, but a lot of steps that were being made, right? In prison and even out of prison. And I thought, hey, man, maybe there in the future could be some unity or some type of, you know, something. But I can see that's not the case, man. This younger generation ain't going for that. They ain't having that shit. They ain't letting the old heads dictate nothing anymore. It just is what it is. But I respect it. I respect the get down, man. And nothing more is going to come of this. These are just two adversaries that caught each other over some gang shit or over some personal beef, you know. But the respect is there because these men handled it like men and not like kids. So with that being said, Gunners Collective TV is back. I am back. I'll be dropping videos over there as well. Make sure you tap in. We're going to keep Super Norteno, that series and everything right here. I will be dropping a Super Norteno this afternoon. I made you guys wait all weekend, huh? Hey, I made you guys wait and then I went and got sunburnt fishing. It's all fucked up. With that being said, I hope that you move with a purpose. Get everything that you want coming. And remember, at the end of the day, it's all about the strive, the struggle, the struggle, the strive. We're going to continue to do what we do on this channel. The shit don't stop, man. But make sure you tap into Gunners Collective TV because I will be dropping numerous amounts of bangers over there. We're going to keep this shit pushing, man. The shit don't stop. Thumbs up, thumbs down. Heavy's going to be the head that wears the crown. I'm going to continue to strive, struggle, strive for what I honestly and truly believe in. And that's the betterment of all people, man. Thank you. I appreciate you.